let's look at Joseph a little closer. What garment was Joseph wearing? Joseph was wearing prison garments. He was in prison, and as a result, he was wearing prison garments. They were not garments he chose for himself, because when you go to prison, you don't choose your garments, it is chosen for you. They were garments he had to wear because of where life had brought him. Sometimes you don't decide to go somewhere, but life will take you somewhere. And when it takes you somewhere, it will give you a garment. And for Joseph, life had taken him to prison, and it gave him a garment. It was a prison garment. That is what was covering him. That was his appearance. That was his status. But Joseph did not start his life with prison garments. If you know Joseph, his life didn't start with prison garments. He started his life with another garment. It was called the coat of many colors. It was a garment of favor. It was a garment of acceptance. It was a garment that showed that there was hope for him. There was a vision for him. He believed that he was going to go to the stars. He believed he would be great in this life. That was how he started life. But sometimes you start with a garment of many colors and end up with prison garments. Not only did he have prison garments, but after his coat of many colors, he had a slave's garments because he was sold as a slave. And now he's wearing prison garments. Many garments removed from his first garment of many colors. I don't know where you are in life. Sometimes you look at your life and you see, look at where life has brought me. This is not what I was hoping to be. I had a dream. I had a vision. I had a hope. I wanted my life to be better. But now I am wearing prison garments. Prison garments represent crushed dreams. When your dreams have been crushed, when what you hope you will be, you have not become. And you look at yourself and you say, when I was 16 years old, this is not where I thought I would be. When I was in school, this is not where I thought I would be. When I was in university, this is not where I thought I would be. I'm now in a place called prison. A prison is a place of limited movement. When you go to prison, you don't get up and say, well, I want to go and get fresh air. No, when you are in prison, your movement is limited. You are limited to a space. And even if you feel like moving, you'll be told how far you can go. There are people in this auditorium tonight who are wearing prison garments. Your dream is gone. You feel restricted. There are great things you want to do, but you can't move to do them because something is blocking your movement. The prison garment, sadly, also represents your companions. Because one thing about prison garment is everybody also is wearing the same garment in the prison with you. It is bad when you are in bad situation, but it is worse when you are in bad situation and everybody you know is in the same situation. When you are broke and everybody you know is broke, you're broke is a bad broke. Because you are in prison. You look rough. Your best friend is also wearing the same garment like you. So you look at me and you say, I don't like my garment. You say, how for do? This is what we have. You look at the next one and say, we need to improve. They say, no. All of us wear the same thing. We are all the same. And when you want to change, they are going to discourage you because everybody around you is wearing the same garment. That was Joseph's situation. He had moved from coat of many colors to prison garment. And he looks to the left, everybody's wearing prison garment. He looks to the right, everybody's wearing prison garment. His best friend is wearing prison garment. He complains, and his best friend will say, well, this is how life is. Have you ever gone to somebody to ask the person for money, and then the person tells you a more miserable story than the one you brought? It is called prison. He's your prison fellow prisoner. You are in prison with him. You say, my marriage is bad though. You say, hey, yours is bad. Sit down, let me tell you about mine. And by the time he tells you about hers, you look at yourself and you say, well, maybe I'm not that bad. It's called prison. Prison is when you are in a problem and everybody you know is in the same problem. You are suffering and everybody is suffering. Nobody around you is inspiring you that life could be better. That is where Joseph was. For 17 years, he has been in this situation. 17 years in prison. In Egypt, he went as a servant. Now he's a prisoner. I'm sure there were times that Joseph will remember, I used to have a coat of many colors. I didn't used to have prison garments. Look at what life has brought me. Look at life, where life has brought me. One day in prison, Joseph gets up because he's been made prefect of the prison. But he's still prisoner. But he has a little title in prison, prefect. He gets up and he sees two other prisoners. One of them is the baker of Pharaoh. The other one is the butler of Pharaoh. And they all look very depressed. So he asks them, what's happening? They said, we had a bad dream. We had a bad dream. He says, okay. Before I came to prison, I had a gift. And I came to prison, still I have that gift, although nobody uses it, but I still have it. I can interpret dreams. I used to dream. I used to have great dreams, and I can interpret your dream. So tell me your dream. The baker said, I had a dream. And in my dream, I was holding bread, and some birds came and took the bread from me. And Joseph said, that's quite an interesting dream, but it's not a good dream. You are in prison, but you are moving from bad to worse. 3 days from now, you'll be killed. I'm sure the man is wondering, should I have told you the dream at all? What kind of dream interpreter is this? The other guy says, well, I had a dream. And he tells Joseph the dream. I was holding wine before Pharaoh. In my dream, I had been returned to my position. Joseph said, that's a good dream. You are going to be returned to your position in 3 days. 3 days, it happened. The baker is executed. The butler is promoted. Joseph says to the butler, hey, remember, we used to wear the same garment. And when you go, tell Pharaoh I've been falsely accused. And let him do something about my case. The man forgot about him for 2 years. Then Pharaoh had a dream, which he couldn't interpret. And the butler, for the first time, remembers. And he says, well, when I was in prison, there was this guy, a Hebrew boy called Joseph, and he could interpret dreams. I think if everybody has failed, Pharaoh, go and fetch this guy in prison. So Joseph is in prison wearing his prison garment, and he has a call that says, Pharaoh is looking for you. I don't know about you, but if you were Joseph and you were in prison and you hear Pharaoh is looking for you, it may not be exciting, because by his own experience there's a 50-50 chance. You can either be killed or you may be promoted. So Pharaoh is looking for you doesn't mean you'll be promoted. It may mean you're going to be executed. Now he has to choose the one he will believe is going to happen to him. So he hears Pharaoh is looking for you, and Joseph says, I have moved with many garments. I used to wear the garment of many colors. I used to wear a servant's garment. I am now wearing prison garments, but I believe my level is about to change. And if my level is about to change, I'm not going to stand before Pharaoh looking like a prisoner. So the Bible says he shaved himself. He removed the mark of a prisoner from him. And the Bible says he changed his garment. He changed his garment. I wonder, where did he get that garment from? I believe he came with it outside into prison. He held that garment on him. I believe, in all likelihood, it was his first garment. or probably another garment that he had along the way, but it was not prison garment. He came out from freedom into prison with this garment. And when he came, he hid it in prison with the hope that one day God will call me. And when God calls me, I'm not going to answer as a prisoner. So he changes his garment. And he wears a new garment, not as a prisoner, but as a free man. And he goes to stand before Pharaoh. And when Pharaoh sees him, he doesn't see a prisoner. He sees a man of confidence, a man who believes his destiny has changed. And not only did he change his own garment, because of the way he presented himself, Pharaoh also changed his garment and gave him the greatest garment of all. It was not the favor garment, it was not a servant's garment, not the prison garment, not a free man's garment, but it was the garment of a king, of a ruler, of a master of Egypt. Why did Joseph change his garment? Because when God calls you to another level, you cannot present yourself from the previous level. If God says, if you are going to interview for managing director, you don't dress like a messenger. If you are going out and you want to be married, you don't dress like somebody who doesn't need a husband, excuse me to say, like a prostitute. Because if you believe God is calling you higher, then the way you appear, the way you cover yourself, the way you present yourself must be equal to the calling that you have received. Joseph determined, I've been in prison, I've been called out of prison, I am not going to show myself as a prison. Tell somebody next to you, change what you are wearing. When God calls you to a higher level, don't talk low. When God raises you to a higher level, don't pity yourself. Look at me. As for me, nothing happens to me. Life is hard. Life is hard. When God calls you blessed, you don't say life is hard. When God calls you blessed, you have to change your garment and present yourself as a blessed person. As a blessed person. You have to. You have to. Joseph changed his garment. He changed his garment.